All right. Okay. So in this section of medicinal herbology, we are going to be discussing 8 botanicals and then tincture and fluid extract preparation as well. We're going to touch on that a bit. We've addressed it a couple of times. I'll reiterate or reinforce depending on what you need. Okay. And so the herbs that we're going to be covering are going to be from aloe to cayenne. So some of these you're going to be familiar with, just the application. Um, there'll be some more information and some reinforcement as well. Okay, so aloe. So you'll see aloe here, and sometimes you'll see them listed as aloes, Aloes. There's more than one type of aloe, as you will see, and you might see on our herb walk, depending on where we go on Belle Isle. But there are different aloes in different countries, different parts of the world. They present differently. They have different shapes. They have different names. So we'll be addressing aloes, as you see pictured here, and then purple coneflower too. You'll see these. In fact, the purple coneflower is something that you want to have in your garden. If you can grow this somewhere in your environment, grow it. Okay. Some people are even in public spaces seeding and contributing to the landscape with some of the flowers. This is a very good flower to have for medicinal purposes and as an attractive flower for pollinators. We cannot have too many pollinators. And then we have gumweed, and then yellow clover. We have Bistorta. We have Potentilla, um, Chicory, and Cayenne. All right. So these are the 8 herbs that we'll cover in this section. Aloe, also known as the ancient healing wonder. Again, it's botanical names: aloe vera, aloe socotrina. There's also it's something that's not on here and that you won't hear much about, but there's also an aloe ferox, which is indigenous to I believe the Southern Cape in South Africa. It is considered is a very powerful form or species of the aloe vera or in the aloe vera family. And some consider it to be almost the grandparent of other aloe vera. Now, it's also found in the southern United States. The leaves are what's used. It can be whole leaf, as well as the gel from the leaf. Time of year collected all year round as presented. So all year round, of course, it's not indigenous to cold climates like the Midwest, Michigan, and such. But wherever it is grown, you can harvest it all year round. It is an internal body cleanser. That's one of the aspects. It's also an antihistamine, relieves constipation in its whole leaf form. It can heal ulcers and stomach lesions, so you can use it internally. And as an anthelmintic, which means it expels pinworms. You may have heard that many people is guesstimated that somewhere between 70, maybe even 80% of the population in general has some type of parasite. What is a parasite? A parasite is something that it takes from the host and doesn't give anything back. So it's not a mutually beneficial relationship. So there are all types of parasites. Don't be fooled by some people say, oh, just take pumpkin seeds because that kills parasites. What type of parasites? All parasites are not the same. Many parasites mimic a host of other ailments. Uh, and and there are different protocols, different products different herbs, different methodologies for eradicating parasites. So one being able to identify what type of parasites people have and then addressing that are different things. So again, don't let somebody say, oh, this one formula here or this one product or, it's not that simple. And parasites also can present in a microscopic form all the way up to tapeworms that are very large. But this one is saying more specifically for pinworms. Okay, as it can be used as an underarm deodorant. There's a lot of concern about the products that people are using on their bodies. You should be concerned about that. For acute sunburns, and again, when you find in southern regions and very hot regions, many places in Africa, the Caribbean, etc., where the sun does get very hot and overexposure will create sunburn. It can remove scar tissue. It can be used in hair conditioners and for skins, cuts, and wounds. So you have internal and external application for aloe or aloes. Medicinal or medical uses and preparations as an internal body cleanser, antihistamine to relieve constipation, to heal ulcers and stomach lesions, as an anti-helminthic. As well, you can use it as an infusion. Generally, you cut the leaf in cross-section, express the light viscous juice from the leaf with your fingers into cold distilled water. So different than most of the infusion or tea preparations, we are not heating this. Okay, it would be considered more cold pressed or use cold as opposed to hot. Okay, so pay special attention to that. 1 teaspoonful to a quart, so you would dilute it. Aloe vera, if you take an aloe vera gel or juice, it has a special taste to it. Sometimes it's mixed with some other things to make it a bit more palatable, unless you're comfortable with that or used to it. So you mix it well, make it fresh after 48 hours. It does not keep. Once it's taken out of the leaf, once it's expressed, it's not going to last long, again, without a preservative of some type. So if you see it in the jar, you see it in the container or something, there's some vitamin C or there's something that's preserving that. And you can take 2 or 3 cupfuls daily as the infusion. Now, is an underarm deodorant for acute burns, sunburns, scar tissue, hair conditioner, skin cuts and wounds. You can make an ointment. Aloe vera has a natural gel type consistency. Okay, that's just how it is. It's to emulsify. The expressed juices can be applied without further preparation. So you can use it directly on underarms or burns as needed. And a precautionary note on these burns, I'll say particularly the sunburns, you'll find that most of the places where the sun where it's very hot, in Mexico, in parts of Europe, in parts of the world, in Central Americans, in certain areas where it's very hot in the middle of the day, at the apex of the day, between like that 11 and 2 hours. So those are the places where they would have these siestas, so to speak. Okay, what's the purpose of a siesta? It's not just so somebody would go off someplace and sleep. They would literally, in some places they still do, close down the business in the hottest time of the day, leave, they may go home or go someplace, and then come back when things cool off. Right? And then we can borrow some wisdom from some of the animals and creatures in nature, where in the hottest time of part of the day, they're in the shade. Okay. So we're not meant to work out in the hot sun or do sunbathing at times of day that we could get overexposure and the worst type of sunburn. Okay. So Next, we also have purple coneflower, the plant of Venus, as it's called as well. Now, generally, you hear this called Echinacea, but it's Echinacea angustifolia or Echinacea purpurea. And it's found all over the United States. We use the root of it, called Black Samson, narrow leaf, coneflower, time of year collected in the fall, August to October. It benefits fermentative dyspepsia, digestive problems. It's a blood purifier. So, in this case, we're talking about boils, carbuncles, septicemia, and these things. So when they say, again, blood purifier, what are they saying? That is cleaning out our organs of detoxification. When it benefits the liver and the kidneys, when it gets out liquid waste or solid waste, it helps to detoxify us or get out impurities. One of the main reasons why people would have boils or skin conditions is because the organs of detoxification, or the organs that would normally eliminate toxins, waste, byproducts from our eating, our living, or things that are in our environment that's overwhelming us that the body can't process and get rid of quickly enough, it'll come through the skin. The skin is the body's largest organ of elimination. Okay? So, and people will notice, some people, or perhaps, whatever, if they had a certain amount of alcohol, they may smell on the skin, or different things. If you eat it may show up on the skin. Now, sometimes it can be garlic or some other substances that are natural, but otherwise, this is one of the ways that the body gets rid of some impurities and lightens that toxic load. Okay, but if it's not happening quickly enough, and again, things are showing up on the skin, purple coneflower or the Echinacea is a way of addressing that. Now, for tonsillitis, sore throats, or insect bites, anthropod bites, spider bites, those types of things can be helpful for that as well. And a lot of people have tonsillitis. Many people have sore throat. And it's not usually because there's something wrong with the tonsils. That's our body's early warning system. That's like your smoke alarm. Okay, if your smoke alarm keeps going off, you're probably setting too many fires. It's not that you need to take out your smoke alarm or the battery. You need to stop whatever it is that's offending the body and causing the tonsils to become inflamed. Now, from medicinal applications, it's an alternative. When you see alternative, it alters something, okay? And that could be a number of things, but it alters. It has the ability to alter. It's antiseptic, it's a tonic or tonified, and it's got antibiotic properties. For fermentative dyspepsia, blood purifier, carbuncles, blood toxins, tonsillitis, sore throat, etc., make it into a decoction. Why? We're using what? What part of the herb we're using? The root. The root. So the standard decoction methods boil for, now in this case, it's saying 3 minutes. And if you notice the preparation methods, there are times that you'll see, for example, this is relatively short, 3 minutes. Other times it may be 10 minutes, or it may be 20 minutes, or even longer. But the dosage would be a wine glass full, TID or QID, 3 times a day or 4 times a day. For fermentative dyspepsia, as blood purifier, etc., same thing is on the left side. You can also make it into a fluid extract. Standard fluid extract preparation methods mix equal parts of the extract with the saturated sugar. Now, this is according to taste as well. If you don't want to use sugar, some people might even use it as a honey, but you'd use a dram or so, 3 to 6 times daily. And then here's a combination formula that's powerful, and that would be purple coneflower or the Echinacea and golden seal as a standard decoction. So either one of these are good. Both of these are good as well. You can combine it. And then gumweed, the sticky physician. Grindelia sclerosa, cunifolia, camporum, the species. So you have more than one form of this, or the entire species is considered to be medicinal. Found all over the United States. The leaves and flowering tops are the medicine. Time of year is collected summer to early fall, June to August. It benefits or is a remedy for poison ivy, poison oak, dermatitis, impetigo, dry coughs, eczema, allergenic dermatitis, indolent ulcers, coughs and wheezing, asthmatics, and chest tightness. So you see this for skin conditions. Now, poison ivy and poison oak are pretty serious, okay? But again, you see the dermatitis. So if you may very well notice here that for a number of skin conditions, this is indicated, and for respiratory conditions as well. Medicinal properties is a respiratory stimulant and expectorant, which means it's getting the mucus out. Okay. So many times you'll hear about drugs or medications being for this, say, oh, it whenever it dries up the mucus or something. Where does it go? If you've got mucus in the mouth, where does it go if it quote unquote dries it up? Well, a stimulant or an expectorant would cause it to come out of the body instead of being suppressed, so that perhaps it gets worse. And is a dermatological applicant.
I have a question.
If you can hold your questions until I get to that point, okay? Thank you. So, coughs and wheezing, asthmatics for the chest, tightness. And again, this is not associated with cardiac problems. So we want to distinguish chest tightness, chest problems that could be a cardiac problem. And that's one thing you want to be aware of. Because there are some people who will say they're experiencing chest pain, okay, and it may feel like tightness of chest or something. And especially as people mature, they medically tend to be very careful because they don't know if the person has gas and just a case of gastritis, or if they're having a heart attack. And because they don't want to they don't want to say, you just got gastritis, and give them something simple. Oftentimes they'll do a workup. So it's important to know, are people, if they have heart concerns, what's going on. So when I talk about having a healer in the home, having somebody close by who knows what's going on and could do some things. So if you suspect that it could be gas, and the person took something for gas in the pain, the problem goes away. That might be all that it is. You might save a person a trip to the emergency room. But anyway, coughs and wheezing, asthmatic, and again, chest tightness. Powdering. So this is going to call for powdering of the gumweed, where we're doing, and they say mechanical powdering, whatever, crushing, whatever, encapsulate 5 to 20 grain quantities, 5 to 40 grams 4 times a day. And then for poison ivy, oak, the skin conditions, allergenic dermatitis, etc., as infusion. When they say as needed for rust poisoning, they're talking about the poison ivy, poison oak, poison sumac, that sort of thing. Internal use, 1 wine glass full 3 times a day. And then we get to yellow clover, the blood thinner herb, okay? So that it gives you some information right there. Mellilotus officinalis, also known by the names flowering tops and leaves, similar to our last herb. Collected July through September, prothrombic, and coagulation. In other words, it's thinning the blood. So, of course, this is with some of the other formulations as well. You also need to be aware of what medications a person is taking. If a person was already taking blood thinners, then that would be a precaution, or it could be a contraindication for using this herb. Ovary and uterine pains, dysmenorrhea of antispasmodic origin. That's painful menses. It's not coming with cramping. Medicinal properties is a nervine, antispasmodic, or stop spasm, antithrombotic, again, blood thinner. And it can be used as an infusion or powdered plant. Boiling it for infusion purposes, 1 ounce to 1 quart of water, 4 ounces 3 times a day, or standard powdering, dosage 1 to 50 grains, 2 times a day. And idiopathic, here's something else that's on here. Idiopathic headaches. What does idiopathic mean? I won't have you raise your hand in case, to see if you know. Idiopathic means of unknown origin or of unknown cause. Okay? Now, some people like me don't get headaches. Some people get frequent headaches, and there are different types of headaches. So, but yellow clover may be one for these headaches of unknown origin. And then we have Bistorta, the pearl of the marsh, Polygonum bistortoides, found all over the United States. Again, this is another root herb called by different names, collected June to September for sores on the gum, to regulate menstrual flow, leukorrhea or vaginal discharge, stopping bleeding, cuts, and wounds. In fact, there are a few. Okay, so guess what? After this, I may even ask you to share a few herbs that are known for stopping bleeding, slowing down bleeding as well. So its medicinal properties are as an astringent for tightening, as styptic, okay, if you know about a styptic pencil, that stops bleeding, or as an alternative, Bistorta. So for sores of the gums like canker sores, use as a gargle, menstrual flow, or as a douche. For leukorrhea, decoction, 1 wine glass full is needed, or as the powdered plant, 10 to 60 grain capsules applied directly to the cut or wound. The powdered root can be applied directly as needed. And then Potentilla, the low potency herb, Potentilla and Serena reptans, fruticosa and canadensis, found all over the United States. We use the entire plant, collected July to October. It benefits flu, chills, sore throat, nerve tonic, muscle spasm, and toothache. You probably have not heard much about this. It is a tonic, a nervine. It's antispasmodic and has astringent qualities as well. So it can be used as an infusion, tincture, or even in emergency situations. I would think that someone might want to have this and or some other herbs if they have toothaches, especially late at night. Many times when people have toothache or gum problems, they have it at a time that the dentist may not be available. But again, you can use this as a tea, a tincture, or for emergency uses as well. Okay. And then chicory, we're almost there. The refresher plant, Chicorium intubis L, found all over the United States. You will see this on the side of the roads. You'll see this in nature. You'll see this in fields. The leaves and the roots we're using, and it's collected June to August. It benefits gout. Many people have gout or gouty arthritis, upset stomach, jaundice, liver problems. It serves as a diuretic, a laxative, or even a tonic. And it can be used as a tonic for gout, upset stomach, jaundice. And then it brings us to cayenne, the master stimulator, capsicum, fastigitum frutescens. It's a fruit of the plant. You can grow this. I encourage you to grow it in your yard, in your home. It grows pretty readily. Called African bird pepper, guinea pepper, capsicum, Spanish pepper, chilies. Good for asthmatic. It's good for the respiratory system. It removes excess mucus. It benefits blood pressure, or to lower blood pressure. It's got a reputation for stopping heart attacks in its track, for colds, profuse menstrual hemorrhage. So here's another one that can slow down the blood flow as well. It's a stimulant, carminative, tonic, stomach, rubefacient, pungent, emetic, astringent, alternative, antiseptic, nutrient or nutritive, and antispasmodic. And it works very well with other herbs. So as a tincture, you can make this, and this would be a good tincture for someone to use and have available, especially since it does have a broad range of applications for you to macerate or mash and then soak cayenne for 14 days in a quart of 40% alcohol, that's 80 proof. Keep it warm during the soaking and take 10 to 14 drops 3 times a day, or from mucus secretions, normalizing blood pressure, etc. You can make it into a tincture as well. And for profuse menstrual hemorrhaging, as a powder, or taking the powdered cayenne in a glass of water and sweetened juice, or even encapsulated as well. Okay. I'm going to pause there. I know we got some questions, and then I'm going to address the gloss, share some of these glossary terms too. I'm going to pause
the skin. And so I learned that chamomile is soothing to the skin. So I have even taken like a chamomile tea bag. I have a sample here. And after I've made tea, I'll like sit the tea bag on my face. And I realized that is kind of like a poultice. So that is why I chose chamomile and rose. Also, we'll get to it. So a couple of benefits for chamomile. It is a known sedative, so it's very relaxing to your nervous system and to the body. It is an adaptogen, antibacterial. It reduces inflammation, and again, is very soothing to the skin. It promotes healing and rejuvenation. Chamomile can treat acne and, of course, eczema. It moisturizes and protects the skin and relieves sunburn, can relieve sunburn. Rose, chamomile all by itself could probably treat my face quite naturally, but I really like roses. I like the herb. It smells pretty. It is also an anti-inflammatory, an antioxidant. It has some moisturizing properties, but it's also a wrinkle reducer, a skin brightener, and an astringent. So if I'm already applying healing herbs on my face to rejuvenate my skin, then why not also hit it with a little skin brightener for any dark spots that may come after an eczema episode. That's why I decided to combine the herbs. So how I make a poultice. So I collect about 2 tablespoons of each of the dry herb, and I had my herbs, I put them back in the closet, but I put them inside of my Morton pestle. I grinded the herbs into a powder. I don't know if you can see.
Yep.
There's a powder in there. I actually add a little water, so it's almost paste-like. And after you grind them up till there comes to like a powder consistency, then you mix a little water to make a thick paste. And then apply this mixture directly to the affected area on the skin, and then cover with a cloth. So what I would do is before I lay down, after I wash my skin really well, I have my mixture. I added a little bit of water already, so I can show you that it is already kind of very pasty. Can you see it? So like a looks like oatmeal.
Yep.
So I'm going to place that on my face. I'm going to do it like on my hand as if it were my face because I still have makeup on. And then I'm going to dampen this cloth that I have. I buy tons of these all the time because I use them for everything. And then I'm going to lay it on my face, and I'm going to leave it on my face for probably a good 30 minutes, maybe a little longer. And I'll do this treatment maybe a couple times a week, or as my skin needs some relief. Again, as I mentioned, you can also use a normal chamomile tea bag, steep your tea, drink the tea as it is good for you and relaxing, and then just place the bag anywhere on your face for that 30 minutes or so. Notice that this is not a replacement for conventional treatment that may be provided by your dermatologist. Thank you. That is my presentation on the chamomile and rose poultices.
Very good. All right. And the rose you using question. So very good.
Dried rose like herbs that you could make like a rose tea or put in a bath water, like regular organic rose the flowers.
Okay, the petals.
The petals. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. All right. Entertaining other questions? Tremaine, Andrea. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that information on a poultice. Okay. So, just a note, something to reiterate is that information is good. Some people say knowledge is power. Well, applied knowledge is power. The library is not the most powerful place in the world or in our communities. You can take one book, one concept, one course of study or something. If you apply it, you can benefit from that and grow from there. So with all that's being shared, let's see what we can apply. And through that, you'll grow, you'll develop, you'll learn more, you'll help yourself, and you may very well help thousands, hundreds of thousands, could be millions of people in the process. Okay? I believe our people do perish from a lack of knowledge, and it's not a lack of knowledge on how to choose our clothes and other stuff that we may consider to be important, but how to take care of this body temple, those that we love. We're going to be caregivers. We're going to be cared for. And this is an excellent way of doing it, understanding what nature provides so that we can live more healthfully, more fruitfully, hopefully free of pain, and expressing our highest and best selves. All right. So we don't have further questions. We are going to be at the same same time, same numbers on Tuesday and Wednesday. And again, soon we'll address I'll let you know when the herb walk is. So I'm gonna propose a date, and also because we will be outside, there will be a rain date